The news never stops coming, so of course I gotta cover a few new things that are happening at the very tail end of 2023, including some last minute reminders and some warnings of things to come. Crowdfunded board games just always keep coming. There's always something new to talk about, and I'm here to tell you all about it. Keep you guys up to date. Hopefully you've appreciated it throughout this year, and I look forward to doing it again for you next year. So if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. I'll let you know about some cool games coming up. All right, so we're going to start out with Party Panda Pirates. This is funded at $143,000, which is impressive considering you see a 29 USD right next to it, 2,822 backers, and only 52 hours to go as of recording. So again, everything is linked down in the description below. Feel free to check out. There's a ton of links, including Into the AM. I'm always wearing a hoodie, typically. I wear their shirts all the time. They're amazing, of course, and they do some overnight shipping to get it to you by Christmas. That's always linked down below, too. This is not a specific sponsored video from them. I just want you to get the best use out of the links in those descriptions. Seriously, there's a ton. Anyway, so this is wrapping up here. 2 to 6 players. What Party Panda Pirates is? I actually really like the title of this one because it says party in the name. These are family party games is really what they are. It's essentially Mario Party, the board game, except with cool pirate pandas. Which is probably one too many P's. But anyway, the point is that you actually get some pretty cool stuff. Now, one thing I don't like about this, just before I move on from this image right here is extremely misleading to a point where I don't very much like that. I'm fine with this image, but I don't think they should put the price here. This price is not reflective of the components you see. These miniatures are not part of the $29 USD. So the first image you see as a consumer is extremely misleading, and I don't want any company to do that. This isn't Detestable Games made this, and I'm not like hounding on them for it. I just don't think people necessarily realize what they're doing when they advertise like this. But this is pretty much false advertising. This is not $30. This is like $50, $60. So we'll go over that. So what is this essentially? Well, it's a cute little panda pirate party game where you do a lot of the mini games. So essentially, you like move around to the different locations. You're trying to get like to the center, and then you bet on who is going to do the worst and the best when it comes to the party game, and then you do the party game. Okay, and there's a whole lot of different party games you can do, which is actually really cool. I dig it a lot. I think it's awesome. I think they need to pick better quotes, by the way. Professor Meg has something like, this is a game I enjoyed, which is, I mean, sure, that's a good thing, but I'm sure she said many other more interesting things than something that's, like plain as that I think they should have highlighted. What makes your game unique, not just that she liked it, which, why did she like it? I'm sure she goes over that. You should probably put that in a quote. Their early bird, also misleading. It's free for everybody. The early bird is the Kickstarter. So if you back on the Kickstarter, you're getting the early bird. Don't think that you've missed the early bird because it's just about to end. You'll only miss it if you don't back it during the Kickstarter. So this is an FYI on that. So on the standard edition, the $29 one, by the way, this is a panda-shaped board, which I think is awesome. They have, different components and stuff like that. They do have the turtle ship, but you're just going to get the panda meeples, not the miniatures. Those come in a bigger one. You get coins, a little starting player thing, different player powers and stuff too, which is kind of cool. So each one's a little different. I like that. And of course, a whole lot of different, cards and dice and stuff like that. The dice in particular have a marble effect, which is nice. They don't really show it too well there, but it is good that they're not just super plain. And you're going to interact with those dice in unique ways besides just rolling them. The deluxe $59 USD, so a $60 box, is bigger because it comes with these panda miniatures, metal coins, wooden and acrylic tokens, and that all goes into a nice box here. So I think both of those, I could recommend those. I think the $30 one is smart. In my opinion, for these type of games, I just want something cheap that I can play with the kids. I'm not overly concerned with it being premium. I'm there to have a laugh with children, not necessarily, ooh, this is so nice with my acrylic tokens. I could kind of care less about that a little bit. I expect it to get roughed up. But that's my personal opinion. That being said, and again, it's like $30. $60 though isn't terrible for what you're getting with, especially the component upgrades. The miniatures are, they look nice, so don't get me wrong, but there's, 5 of them, right? So it's not like there's that big of a deal there. But the acrylic, metal, and wooden tokens and stuff are a lot nicer, so that's pretty cool. Plus you get all the unlocked stretch goals and stuff like that. The deluxe version $85 gets you a 6 eye patches, which would add to it, but you can get eye patches without doing it from here. And then you get a Panda pirate plushie. Now you can get a pirate plushie, again, I'm sure fairly cheap somewhere, but it wouldn't necessarily be a Panda pirate plushie. So the eye patches, the hat, okay, yeah, that's fine. And the plushie is a little bit more unique. That's probably the biggest thing in the deluxe. But again, I think I would stick with either, or sorry, not the deluxe plus. I'd stick with the deluxe or the plain one. Either way, you pick your captain and then you go around and just kind of do these fun little mini games and stuff like that look like a lot of fun, honestly. As you can see, I think at one point they're like stacking dice and stuff like that. Also, I'm going to throw Alex under the bus, okay? Listen, Alex. This is Alex from Board Game Co. He's right here. This guy right here. Smile on your thumbnail, man. Come on. You can't put silly shenanigans and then have a face like this. Does that look like silly shenanigans? You can do better. I know. Smile. it's okay. We're at board games. We're having fun. I love it. I hope your kids and you had a blast with the game. So anyway, and then over here he's not smiling either. Man, everybody needs to smile. Smile more. There you go. See, she's got a little smirk. One person knows how to do it. Have fun with your board games, guys. Anyway, so that's this right here. And then the pledge levels, the MSRP for it, it's whatever. I imagine this is an easy retail game, right? So if you just want to wait, go ahead and wait, because it does deliver in November 2024 is their estimate. So it's going to be a while. It's pretty much going to be this time next year before you get it. So while cheap and you get some, nice stuff like this, again, you can see a lot of the new games and mini games and stuff like that they're doing. So they did some pretty cool stuff here for sure, which I think is nice. And they're coming out with more stuff again, which is great, including a crab plushie that you'll be able to buy separately. They're going to be unlocking that here soon, I think, and right after this new mini game. So anyway, looks like a lot of fun. Feel free to check it out. Again, link down in the description below. Next up, Tiny Bit Cthulhu. I've shown you this before, but I'll update you. 11,000 backers. So they've broken the 10,000 threshold, which is, I think, huge. Still 3 days ago, so that's not even the final 2-day push. And right under 500,000. They've done very well. Tiny Epic is one that it's had some hits, it's had some misses, but in general, it's typically a good deal. In general, for the most part, people enjoy the games that they make. This is by Gamelin Games, and it shows in the funding of it. And again, they're cheap. The only thing I think that they could ever improve is the fact that they ship you a box of a board game in a bag, and it breaks my heart every time. But, it works for them too, because it is a pretty small box. $25. Not too bad. There is an expansion. We'll go over that in a little bit. And those dice look great. I love the fact they're putting the dice up front. Everybody loves dice. We all get nerdy about the dice. I don't know if the first thing I want to see on your pledge rewards, though, is a printer. That makes it look kind of old school and silly. But for the 26 people, I guess it's worth having it there. I don't know. I don't know how much that actually is. I mean, it's easy for them to do, but it does take up space in your campaign and focus. And I'm not sure how many people wouldn't have forked over the $5 more for the base game. I'm not exactly sure. The only real big difference there is the time. So they'll be done with this by February 2024, but then they have to actually make it and ship a physical reward. So if you're willing to print it, you can totally do that. Otherwise, it's November 2024. Again, pretty much a year from now. So just as an FYI, that's always the case with pretty much all these. But yeah, I mean, they do some great stuff. There's 3 levels of play, so there's a lot of kind of intricate stuff you can do here. It's a Tiny Epic, right? It's the small packaged board game that does quite a bit. Now, I feel like they've ebbed and flowed in like how much they're given. This is one of the bigger ones. This Wheel of Madness is something that Rado really liked. Essentially, it points to both ends and they point at different things. It's pretty cool. I don't know if it's as mind blowing as is made out to be, but the hype is real, and Cthulhu's a fun thing to do anyway, so that's pretty cool. Those dice are pretty nice too. Anyway, you can see it. You're going around and moving tokens around and trying to keep your emotions in check and not overload them. And then there's an expansion. Well, not this one. There's an expansion here, right here, a Cult of Chaos, where you're going against the cultist. So there's that one as well, and they come with a few different new bosses and stuff like that. Looks pretty fun too. The cost, again, $30 or $40 for the deluxe bundle. That's the one you want to look at. All these other ones are just multiples of that pretty much. So about $40 and you get that plus the expansion, which is pretty cool, I think. I don't know how I feel about the X's. I'd rather companies focus on what you're getting and not necessarily what you're not getting. I do kind of... I'm okay with like a chart kind of showing everything if it's kind of confusing to people, they think. I don't know if I like the, you're not getting this and you're not getting this. back now. It's like, yeah, you're pretty much pushing everybody to where you get the least amount of X's. And of course, that's where everybody is, but it's also a good deal. So I don't think the X's necessarily do that. I don't like seeing buy this and then they show you a whole bunch of stuff you're not getting. Normally it just says this is what you're getting, and then it's kind of inferred on anything else, or you list not everything else, but specifically listing you don't get this and you don't get this, and you don't get this. It leaves a negative connotation that I'm not exactly on board with. Maybe I'm nitpicking a bit too much here. I apologize for that if that's the case. I don't mean to come off the wrong way. I think these are cool games, which is why I'm showing them to you. I think you should back them if they look interesting to you. I wouldn't point anybody away from them. Just some friendly feedback. The MCDM RPG is a weird RPG. I covered this last time. It's made over $3 million. 19,000 backers. This is on BackerKit. Everything about this is weird, but it also looks really darn cool. One of the things that's kind of interesting, if you go to like their stretch goals, right? So they've made over 3 million. And yet one of the things they kind of keep talking about, right? In fact, I even highlighted it here, or at least I did, but it looks like my highlight ran away, is now, as with the VTT, this is a box set and the visual tabletop kind of mode, which they've over doubled the funding for. It says, we cannot say this product will definitely exist. So they're not promising they'll deliver their stretch goals. We can only promise that that should we hit this funding level, we will spend the money on it and cross our fingers. I'm okay with like not overpromising. I'm okay with keeping scope in check. I'm okay with knowing that and being okay with like, hey, stuff can happen, things can change, there's always a risk. I don't like this sentence because it just seems like it's pretty much like it's out of their control. We're going to spend the money and cross our fingers. It's kind of like a Jesus take the wheel kind of comment to me. There are really sound business things you can do to actually deliver a product. Okay, especially a product like a box set or like a virtual tabletop thing. This is not something that's like, I mean, there's creativity in everything you do, and I get that. But this is not some outlandish thing, right? You can typically give a company, like a business, money and say you need to deliver this, and they can say we can or we can't. And if you can't do that, then I do worry about the business. Now, I'm not saying don't back this. I'm not saying that at all. I think this is a very cool thing, and I think it shows a lot of promise. I like that it's not just a 5e rehash. Here's some art and some classes and some enemies. There you go. And you can spit those out every single month if you wanted to. I'm happy he's doing more with it. I just want to see ownership and more confidence in the business acumen to actually deliver something, if that makes sense. Because you could kind of say this on any Kickstarter, we'll spend your money and cross our fingers. And it just kind of seems like if it'll happen, I guess, or it won't. But if it doesn't, oh well. Ideally, there's some kind of method or some kind of plan for this business going forward to where even if for whatever reason something didn't happen, it's not reliant on, oh, well, we have no other way of making money. We have no other way of working on this. If we don't make it an X amount, then we just don't do it, I guess. And it just never gets done. I don't know. I've said my piece on that. Everything else looks cool, guys. I mean, I think it's awesome. There's one cool thing about this. Hold on, wait. I want to go to add-ons here. This t-shirt and sticker set, 1,825 purchases. I love the backer kit tells you how many are buying this because it shows, hey, is the monster hardcover worth it? There's 16 people are buying it as an add-on. Again, you can get it other ways and stuff like that. Same with the hero PDF, but again, PDF, low cost, sure, why not? But you can really kind of start judging that, right? Which is helpful. But at $35 a pop, that has made $64,000-ish in extra revenue, not profit, revenue, for a t-shirt. I have long since, for years, even when it was like super unpopular and uncool, like since like 2018, I've been talking about how I love the fact that stuff like a t-shirt or stickers or a plushie like the Party Panda Pirates and stuff like that are surefire, very well-known cost-profit ratio stuff that you can add to an add-on that I don't feel necessarily takes away from the game and yet doesn't increase your scope or your risk or any kind of thing like that, right? It's something you can easily add to increase a little bit of profit and some revenue for people that enjoy it. It's there if you want it, and it actually does pretty good, $64,000 in revenue. I don't know how much in profit, again, that is, but it's got to be something, right? And in fact, it's a well-known. They know how much that shirt's going to cost them. They know what the printing process is going to cost. It's a very well-known product to offer people. And I think that's awesome. I think that's cool. Good for them. I would like to see more of that. And it's not just because I love t-shirts, which I do. Again, Into the AM, they're awesome. Link down in the description below. But no, seriously, like I love shirts, like nerdy shirts like that. And I love a lot of these board games. You know how many shirts I've started to get now for these board games, right? I got a Sheol shirt, right? I got a Into the Unknown shirt for Ant Trespass Odyssey, right? I would love it. Give me an Oathsworn shirt, right? Give me a Conan shirt. Give me a Rising Sun shirt, like whatever. Like I love it. I think it's awesome. I would like to see more companies do that. I think it's a good business decision. Again, you don't want to like overdo it to where it takes away from the campaign. And I know this is not what everybody agrees with, but for my opinion, having a shirt in that add-on section does not take away from this game at all. It only helps the business and has people that like it be able to celebrate it by wearing a cool shirt. So I think that's awesome. Okay, now that's it for what's like on crowdfunding noteworthy that I'm going to show you guys. There is, however, an update on Darkest Dungeon. There's an update on Dawn of Madness, and there is a warning for a video that I'm going to cover because it's worth its own video. So yeah, let's get into it. All right. Darkest Dungeon, the board game. I backed this project. I'm an idiot, but here we are. The German language pack finally confirmed. I highlighted that. Boom. You guys are getting the German language. So the German language packs will actually be printed and sent to German backers. So if you speak German and you backed this in German, congratulations. If you didn't, then that means like Polish and Chinese versions, everything else, by the way, gets a print and play PDF. So you still get stuff translated, they just aren't gonna like physically make it. You have to kind of print it off yourself, which sucks and not everybody's gonna do. So that's a bummer. Okay, now this is real minis, and that's because injection molding of the plastic miniatures has begun. Mass injection should continue and be completed before the Chinese New Year. The first samples of the Touch of Darkness Wave 2 minis will be arriving. They'll be showing that off. That'll probably be in the next update. So they're actually making stuff. Wow. Paper printing is going to be a little delayed though. Not only will it be after Chinese New Year, but it'll be after their factory is already printing their other one. Famously, they didn't really divvy out to other factories or whatever. They use like one factory because they like the quality of it, which is great. I don't think it's the cheapest factory. I don't know what they use. I just know it probably ain't the cheapest. One of the ways I think that they kind of like lost some steam there, right? I mean, I understand it. You want quality, but if you're like in bed with this factory, I think like all your eggs in one basket kind of thing, right? Like it's a little too much maybe, but I don't know, we'll see. Printing of Darkest Dungeon Wave 2 will be finished in May, and we estimate delivery of Wave 2 in August or September of next year. So this seems like it'll actually deliver before this other stuff, like all the stuff you're backing right now. So that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. I like it. I don't like everything else about what Mythic Games has done. I don't like the situation we're in. I don't like that I had to pay extra for this, and it will be the last time I pay. Maybe, I don't know. If they pull out hey, get Anastair for 40 more bucks, I'm like, maybe do I don't know. You guys will see me struggle in 2024 over this, just like you all, I'm sure, are struggling as well for the same thing. At the end of the day, it is a pretty darn good game, and I very much enjoyed it. So we'll see. Let's move on to Dawn of Madness. Okay, Dawn of Madness by Dimension Games. Linus's rewrite is complete. Final layout in progress. Let's read it. Okay, Linus's rewrite is complete. We're finishing up his storybook now, and we'll submit it within the next week. So that is like Christmas week, supposedly. I don't know what their like time off deal is here, but next week is like the week of Christmas, which in most places is a pretty darn dead week. So I don't know, maybe they will. We'll see. With that, the last part of the core game will be finished and on the production line. So that's good. But I will say the wording of this kind of stuff is always a little loosey-goosey, right? So like it's on the production line. What does that necessarily mean? So speaking of production, they kind of go into it or whatever, right? They've been continuing to work on all the components and stuff. They're printing off everything. They do say that they'll have pictures from the factory. The factory's been really busy, so they haven't gotten those yet. Again, we'll see. Now that the rewrite is finished, this would be Byron here, will be returning to everything I've been putting off, including emails. Now, this is kind of a problem, simply because if I scroll down here, we see stuff like this. Hey, I haven't had a response in like a year. Now, granted, you can't look into everybody's issues, so like I don't know if they've been sending more emails or if there was just that one kind of lamenting or whatever, or if they've tried multiple threads. In other words, maybe that one got deleted or archived or spammed, so send a new email with a new title and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what's all been going on there. I just know that it's very obvious that there's not a lot of like English connection besides Byron, except that's not all his job. He also does writing and a whole bunch of other stuff for Dimension Games. So it's a guy doing way too much for a company, which is unfortunate. I think they should hire another person, but again, that involves the money. So, whatever, I don't know. I just know it sucks that they've kind of built the business to rely on Byron so much. Like, if he quit Dimension Games, that would pretty much screw them over completely. He's vital to that, and hopefully at least he gets paid as if he's vital, because, dear Lord. I personally get behind on email, so I understand that. If you've tried to contact me in any way, shape, or form, I think you know that. Again, this is not my only job, just like that's not his only job, so I can sympathize. That being said, I think this is nice, but I think a little bit more empathy in the situation, knowing that you're missing a whole lot, could have helped a little bit here as well. At least acknowledgement around it, so you don't get comments like really, which is what you don't want people to react with. When this will be, I don't know. Like, I mean, they say here that that's it, and that we'll hear more later, probably in January by the sounds of it, looks like. It would be great to get an estimate here, especially if it's in production, then I would think there is that. Just note that all of this work is for Wave 1, not Wave 2. This is a wake-up call to any other developer watching this. If you haven't yet woken up to this, a realization, don't launch a game like Dawn of Madness was, where it's an idea and it's not really complete yet and not really great. Get your game actually developed, have an actual great game you're trying to produce and sell. Fund the manufacturing and delivery of it. Do not fund the development of it. That can take years and years and years. And backers aren't used to a creative process which involves rehashing stuff and getting rid of stuff and redoing stuff and full rewrites and all that. That kind of stuff is messy, and it's part of the creative process, and people who do it understand it. But that doesn't mean the people that just wanted a cool game want to deal with that for the next 3-4 years, right? So it happened with Storm Thunder, it happened with this, it happened with Mythic Battles Ragnarok even, right? Wasn't ready for production, or would have been here a long time ago. It's only just now delivering. Like, it's all over the place. And Monolith has said, hey, we're not doing that anymore. Like, our games are going to be ready. And I can't blame them, and I think other developers should follow suit. It sucks, but it just is what it is. Or launch it very much knowing you're funding the design development. Don't put it for a year, put it for like 4 years out. And I guess good luck in funding, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it is. Okay. Faith's Legacy, Eternal Chronicles, the board game. Embark on a legendary quest in a world of enchantment and ancient secrets. This is Terry Rawson's first one here. In the comments, he mentions some stuff around, like, this is my first Kickstarter. It says this, it says that. I think it's a lot of copium. I think it's a lot of excuses. What this is an AI board game as far as I can tell. I'm not saying that he hasn't done work on this. He has an Excel sheet with listed components and stuff, so I guess that's the thing. But like this right here is an AI image. Trust me, it is. There are AI programs that do this. I'm going to have a whole video showing you guys a whole bunch of AI board games, and you're going to have to decide which one has been on Kickstarter and which one hasn't. And good luck, because yeah, this, again, AI. This, definitely AI. Notice the boxes don't even like match the other stuff you like just saw, right? It's like, what the heck happened there? This AI, this AI, this AI, this AI, all of it is just AI art thrown up here. I worry that a lot of this is also AI. I did a video once designing a board game with AI, and you can really feed it stuff like this. And I wasn't even using the optimal AI for that. They are better ones out there to be able to do something like this. But you can get different mechanics and different stuff like that. Again, I'm going to have a whole video on this, so I'm not going to get too into this. Just be on the lookout. Just know that there's a lot of that kind of stuff floating around here. I have no issue at all with AI images. I think they're cool, right? I think this looks cool. And that's a cool freaking art. Look, there's like a space dragon person in there. It's freaking sweet. And look at the size of her crown. As far as she can even keep her head upright. Awesome. Love it. But when it comes to actually parting with your money, backing games, spending $150 on this game is what they're asking for. without really clear indication that this is just a guy who threw up a whole bunch of AI art and some paragraphs. Yeah, kind of cagey. Now, again, 184 funded. He's not going to fund it this way, okay? But this is also not the first campaign I've covered that has AI stuff. It's not even, there's been a solid handful that I've even personally covered, and I ignore a lot of the crap on Kickstarter. But there's other examples. I want to talk about it. It'll be in a future video. Stay vigilant. Do your research. Don't part with your money unless you're very sure you're okay with either losing that money on a big risk or you have a high confidence that the risk is fairly low. Your money is your money. You worked hard for it. It should get you something good, not just empty promises. Okay, with that out of the way, guys, have a great Christmas if you celebrate that. If you don't, have a great December 25th. Hopefully it's a good, day for you, regardless, I guess. I will be having a few top 10s. I will be launching my fundraiser. Stay tuned for that. There's links down in the description below to everything I was covered and way more. There's a ton of pledge managers down there and all that kind of stuff. Stuff coming up. You're going to like it. There's a lot of stuff. So feel free to use that. If you appreciate the video, leaving a like certainly helps. If you want to see more videos, subscription certainly helps with that. And with that, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.